Imagine standing at the edge of an ancient forest, the air thick with the scent of pine and earth. The only sounds are the whispers of the wind and the distant calls of creatures hidden deep in the trees. But somewhere, just beyond your sight, something stirs. It's a feeling, an inexplicable sense that you're not alone. Could it be that something is watching you? Something not quite human? For centuries, stories like this have been told around campfires, passed down through generations. The legend of Bigfoot, a creature of the wilderness, both feared and revered. But where did this legend come from? Why do so many still believe in Bigfoot today, despite a lack of solid evidence? The answer to that question lies in the shadows of history, in stories told long before our modern world, and in the deep, mysterious corners of the forest, where the unknown still lurks. To understand Bigfoot, we need to go back in time. Long before the term Sasquatch was coined, indigenous tribes across North America were telling tales of mysterious, wild creatures that roamed the wilderness. The Skokomish tribe of the Pacific Northwest spoke of a giant, hairy being they called Sasquatch, a creature who dwelled deep in the forests, unseen, but always near. But this wasn't just one tribe. Stories of similar creatures appeared in cultures spread across the continent. The Cree, the Ojibwe, and the Salish tribes all had their own versions of a wild man, a giant covered in hair, whose presence was often tied to both respect and fear. The idea was clear. These creatures were guardians of the wild, creatures who lived apart from humans, but who shared the land nonetheless. Could these stories, passed down through generations, hold a kernel of truth? Or were they simply cautionary tales, a way to explain the wild, untamable forests and to warn children to stay close to the village? Fast forward to the mid-1900s, when the legend of Bigfoot would leap from the pages of folklore into the modern world. In 1958, a man named Jerry Crew was working in the remote Bluff Creek region of California when he discovered something strange, massive footprints, far too large to be human, yet not like any animal tracks he had seen before. He cast one of the prints, and soon the media was ablaze with reports of a wild man roaming the woods of the Pacific Northwest. But it wasn't until 1967 that Bigfoot truly captured the world's attention. Two men, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, filmed the now famous Patterson-Gimlin film in Bluff Creek. It was shaky and blurry, but what they caught on camera was undeniable: a large, upright figure, covered in hair, walking effortlessly through the trees. The Patterson-Gimlin film remains the most iconic piece of Bigfoot evidence to this day. Some argue it's the clearest footage we have, a genuine glimpse of the creature in its natural habitat. Others call it a hoax, a person in a suit. The debate continues, but one thing is certain. This film, captured more than 50 years ago, still fuels the mystery of Bigfoot, and is often the first thing people think of when they hear the name. But it's not just blurry footage that keeps the Bigfoot legend alive. Over the years, people have found strange, massive footprints all over North America, some as large as 24 inches long. These footprints often appear in the most remote areas, far from civilization, making it difficult to chalk them up to hoaxes or pranks. These prints don't resemble the tracks of any known animal. Experts have examined them, analyzed the depth, the width, the curvature, and have been unable to identify what could have made them. Some argue they belong to a bear or other large animal, but the shapes of the toes and the unique features of the prints leave many scratching their heads. What's even more puzzling is the consistency of these reports. Hundreds of people, from hikers to scientists, have encountered these mysterious tracks in places where no one would easily wander. Could it be that we're dealing with something entirely unknown to science? And it's not just footprints. Strange sounds have been reported for years: howls, screams, and knocks that don't quite match anything in the animal kingdom. One of the most famous examples is the Sierra Sounds, recorded in the 1970s by a group of researchers in California's Sierra Nevada mountains. These strange vocalizations, some low and guttural, others eerily human-like, sound nothing like the calls of bears, wolves, or any known animal. Could these be the vocalizations of Bigfoot? Or could they be something else, perhaps an undiscovered creature, communicating in ways we don't fully understand. These strange noises continue to puzzle researchers. They're not just random animal sounds. There's a complexity to them, a rhythm and pattern that suggests intelligence. Some believe that these sounds are evidence of Bigfoot's existence, a way for the creature to communicate or perhaps to remain hidden. Then, there are the hair samples. Over the years, people have found strange, coarse hairs in areas where Bigfoot has been reported. Some of these hairs have been sent for DNA analysis, and the results are fascinating. Many of the samples don't match any known species. In some cases, the DNA doesn't even come back as anything we can identify. Could these hairs belong to a creature that we've never encountered? A primate-like being that roams the forests of North America, just outside the reach of science and civilization? These hairs, along with the other evidence, seem to suggest that there's something out there, something different. But, like all Bigfoot evidence, it remains elusive. There are no bodies, no definitive proof, just enough to keep the mystery alive and continue the search. So, why do people still believe in Bigfoot? Why, after all these years? Does the legend persist? Perhaps it's the allure of the unknown, the idea that there's still so much about our world that we don't understand. Bigfoot is more than just a creature. He represents the mysteries of the wilderness, the places we cannot reach, and the corners of our world we have yet to explore. Maybe it's the possibility that there's still something out there, something we haven't discovered. Something so elusive that it has defied all attempts to find it for centuries. Maybe in our increasingly modern world, Bigfoot is a symbol of the mysteries that still await us, reminder that there's more to the world than what we can see and touch. The search for Bigfoot continues. Researchers, cryptozoologists, and even ordinary people who feel the call of the wild still venture into the forests, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. They set up cameras, track footprints, listen for strange sounds. Some claim to have had close encounters, though many remain unproven. But in a way, maybe it's not about finding Bigfoot at all. Maybe it's about something deeper, the search for what we can't explain, the mystery that lies just beyond the edge of our understanding. Bigfoot has become more than just a creature. It's a puzzle, a challenge, and a question that refuses to be answered. Maybe Bigfoot is out there. Or maybe the legend is something we've created, a way to connect with the vast wilderness that still exists beyond our cities and our technology. Either way, the mystery endures, and perhaps that's why, all these years later, people still believe. Because sometimes the search for answers is just as important as the answers themselves.